There's so much about being a nerd that it's really impossible to pin it down to just one thing. So, I thought I'd go back through all the crazy shit in my life that I've consumed over time that makes me this fine, still young, strapping lad you see before you. Now, some of this stuff might be things that you overlooked or that you saw one time and maybe you just kind of forgot about it. So, I'm going to do this weekly. Every week I'm going to throw a movie, a book, a video game, and an album out there that kind of constructed who I am and constructed this nerd life. The first film I want to talk to you about is Berry Gordy's The Last Dragon. Who's Berry Gordy? He's just the founder of Motown, baby. Yeah! Now, Rotten Tomatoes has this film scored at 33%, but fuck all that noise, alright? This movie is an insta-watch and a cult favorite. Released in 1985, the film starred Timac, a dude so cool he doesn't even need a last name, as Bruce Leroy, a martial artist on a quest to reach the higher level and obtain the glow. The glow is what envelops a master's body and makes him look like a kung fu porn shop. Now, Leroy is a badass mofo, but it's Julius Carey III who steals the show as Show Nuff, the Shogun of Harlem.
The Leroy Green I'm looking for is a little punk.
Probably one of the greatest overacted villain portrayals of all time. He will have you asking everybody who's the meanest and who's the prettiest. There's also an extremely young Ernie Reyes Jr. in the film, and for all you martial arts movie fans, that should get you hyped because he even kicked ass at 8 years old. The film also features one of the most underrated soundtracks of all time, even if it was used to showcase undeveloped Motown talent. I originally caught this film on WPIX Channel 11 in New York City. Staten Island, baby! Because every Saturday, they would show kung fu flicks from like noon to 6 p.m. And then there would be some like great big movie on at night. You know, Conan the Destroyer or something that was edited for TV. But even still, The Last Dragon has come with me throughout all time. I show it to everybody I know. And I tell them if they want to watch something ridiculous, awesome kung fu, especially for the 80s, and honestly, you will be singing The Glow when you stop watching the film. This is the movie for you. Hunter the Reckoning. God, I love this game. Favorite game from the PS2 Xbox generation. And man, do not a lot of people know about it. It was my go-to party game, fully couch co-op, up to 4 players. Of course, you usually had to buy that adapter to play as 4 players, but still, it was awesome. Just sheer awesomeness. A Diablo-like clone without the loot drop, you could play as one of 4 characters that had a melee, ranged, and spell attack. The story centers around a prison that during the execution of a serial killer unleashes the souls of the dead, and the warden is a vampire, and you are guided by some creepy demon spirit named Carpenter. Basically, the plot of the game is supernatural and a bit hokey, as it uses every type of monster or spirit or demon you can think of. But for the time, the character designs were awesome and the combat was fierce. Now, I know it kind of sounds like it pulled a Supernatural and used every single thing possible just to keep the story going for like 35 decades, but in reality, the game is awesome. Seriously, the characters' designs were off the hook, and by halfway through the game, after leveling your character up, yeah, you could level them up. You came out kind of feeling like a Kate Beckinsale Blade love child, all grown up and just tearing ass through vampires and werewolves. And I mean, honestly, who doesn't want to tear some ass of werewolves and vampires?
That's what she said.
And now it's time for the book, and I already know what you're thinking. Oh no, reading! Get it away! You gonna learn something. That's just gonna happen. This book, Gil's All-Fright Diner by A. Lee Martinez, is fantastic. A. Lee Martinez as a writer has a wonderful sense of comedy and sarcasm that usually skews whatever genre he's writing about and kind of pokes fun at itself. He usually sticks around the fantasy and sci-fi genres, sometimes mixing and matching them, but it's always a good read and it's always fun. He's kind of like the Piers Anthony of sarcasm, if you know who Piers Anthony is. So Gil's All-Fright Diner is about a diner of the same name that's constantly being attacked by like witches and werewolves and all types of other bad, evil stuff. when Baron and Earl show up and decide that they're going to defend the diner. Bunch of stuff happens, possibly the apocalypse. I don't want to give too much away, but it's a hilarious story that has an even funnier twist to it. And this is a book that I recommend to anybody who is a huge sci-fi or fantasy fan, because it's not like anything you've ever read before. I have not read a writer like A. Lee Martinez who can just make me laugh and make me feel like I'm in a parody world of all the cool Dungeons and Dragons stuff I read as a kid. So check out A. Lee Martinez's Gil's All Fright Diner. So my final pick of the week in music, and I understand music is so subjective and there's so many genres out there and certain people like this but they don't like that. I'm pretty much a huge music fan. It's probably one of my nerdiest fandoms. I listen to almost about everything, even old school country and western. I will play the hell out of some Hank Williams Sr. And no, that's not because I'm a redneck. It's just, I don't know, honest? Pure? I don't know. Anyway, so the first band I'm going to focus on is a heavy band, so if you don't like screaming, I'm sorry. If you don't like heavy guitars, I'm even more sorry. But the first band is called Beloved. Now, if you're going to look up Beloved, you actually have to either look up Beloved Band or Beloved US Band, because there's a book by Oprah Winfrey, or maybe it wasn't by Oprah Winfrey, maybe she was in the movie. She was in the movie with I'm Too Old for This Shit, Danny Glover. That's what it was. And there was another band named Beloved, but this is the one from North Carolina. So, Beloved came out with this album called Failure On, and it was absolutely amazing. And it absolutely got lost in the shuffle of early double-aught screamo music. All these great bands came out then, from Autumn to Ashes, Poison the Well, Under Oath, and yeah, there were some really great bands like those ones, but then there was a lot of really bad bands, and unfortunately in that sea of all these record companies and festivals trying to get these bands to play, Beloved got totally overlooked. Failure On is probably one of the only albums I can listen to from start to finish. It is so good, and it's even better that it's the only album that Beloved ever put out. Yeah, there's some LPs, some shorter demo stuff, but this is the only full EP. Failure On is amazing. Now, if you're not going to go out and buy the entire album, you're like me, you like to go on iTunes and pick out your favorite songs, then the tracks that you need to check out is Failure on Your Lips, Only Our Faces Hide, Death to Traitors, Effect to Decay, and Insult to Injury. Those are the jams. They are amazing, and it mixes hardcore screaming with melodic voices and killer drums and just kind of indie rock guitars. It's this wonderful thing that sounds like it should be a cacophony, and it's just awesome. And it's energetic, and God, I keep saying "and" because I want you to go out and check out Beloved US, the band from North Carolina. I believe Failure On came out in 2003, 2004. So check that out. So those are my 4 picks for the week. I hope you guys really go check them out, at least one of them or 2 of them. If you do check out The Last Dragon, please send me Show Nuff quotes. If you've already seen it, send me Show Nuff quotes, because I just love Show Nuff quotes. Like, he is awesome, and that's The Last Dragon. Next week, I'm going to be focusing on a lot of dystopian future stuff, a movie, a book, an album even, and even a video game, all about dystopian future. So hopefully, if you check this stuff out, you get even more nerdy, and you can even one day say, keep it nerdy, and I'll catch you next time.